I kept having to look back doing this, the albums of the year or whatever, best release so far. And I kept thinking of ones, I look back and they were like late 2021. I was like, God, there's a shit ton of stuff I liked in 2021.
Yeah, 2021 was a great year. Because I know there's a lot of them I kept looking at, and it came out in December or at the very end of 2021, so I had to keep rechecking.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, I'm sure we're off in opposite ends of the spectrum, but I was like, about that Halsey album, because Halsey did that album with
last year, right?
Trent Reznor. Yeah, and that was last year. And there's like 7 other albums. I was like, what about that one? And it was 2021. So I didn't have a hard time with this list, but it wasn't super easy because there has been enough albums released that I had some tough decisions to make. But let's talk about first what the bulk of our list is. I'm going to come right off the rip and say there is no country on my top 10 albums
No.
of the year so far. I assume there's none in yours.
I can also say I did not listen to one country album.
Do you have any hip hop in yours?
I have listened to hip hop albums, but none on my list.
I do have a hip hop album in my list and a hip hop artist that didn't do hip hop in my list.
Because I listened to the Denzel Curry album and the Harlow album.
I tried to listen to the Kendrick Lamar album.
Oh, I did listen to that. That wasn't bad, actually.
But I don't have it in there.
And I listened to the Drake's last one.
Never listened to Drake, really.
I like Drake. The last time, not so much, but I do like Drake.
Yeah. His last one was a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knew it was
drop,
coming.
yeah.
Which that's always, I don't know. As much as they promote themselves, it surprises me when they drop a surprise album. A la Eminem most of the time. Past 2 or 3 albums has been surprises. But most of my list is rock. It goes from soft to heavy. Is yours? I mean, I know a lot of yours is probably heavy. Is there?
I mean, probably the lightest album I have on my list is probably one that we share.
Okay, that's exciting. All right, let's get into it then. So, prefacing this by saying to Neil's pleasure, I'm big on a thrash metal kick and metal in general. Like, I'm not just thrash, but I'm kind of feeling the metal here lately.
It's most likely just a breath of fresh air to you. So just something different for the time being. That's probably
Yeah.
what got you.
That's accurate, because I'm really sick of all the stuff that I grew up with. I'm really sick of, like I was talking to a buddy of mine today that lives in Idaho, and he's full on into pop punk, and I'm like, how? Just how? And it's new. It's like newer stuff, like 2010 and newer. And I'm like, man, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's because I wore myself out on it or what.
Our actual good punk or Vagrant Records punk.
Vagrant's good. Anything on Vagrant, Epitaph usually.
Yeah, any of that emo era stuff. We've just gotten past it. Not to say I dislike it. I've had enough.
Yeah. Now I will say, Hicks, who was doing this podcast, he went to My Chemical Romance last night.
I'm jealous.
I am jealous
Where
as
was
well.
it at?
I think it was Columbus. Maybe it wasn't. Okay. I think he might have traveled. I don't remember. But Turnstile opened up for him.
Yep.
And the Dilly Dallies or something like that.
I've heard them.
But he said, and he's been to a lot of concerts, a lot of good ones. And he said that's the best show he's ever seen in his life, and it gave him chills just talking about it today. Like, he said it was that good. So I was definitely jealous and surprised a little bit, because I wouldn't think My Chemical Romance would be the best. You know what I mean? I wouldn't expect that to be like a top tier. I would love to see him, but to say it's the best concert I've ever seen.
It's probably a lot to do with. It probably has a lot to do with the fan interaction, because I know they have a lot of sing-alongs during their concerts.
Yeah.
So I can see that, I guess.
They're good enough to pull off like the best show ever. I wish I could have saw it to know, but it is what it is. What's the next concert I have coming up? It's Post Malone.
I had Rivers of Nile coming up in October.
Post Malone's new album did not make my top 10. It's a little on the weaker side for him, in my opinion, but that's okay. You want to lead us off? Did you do them in order? Is there no order?
Other than like the first, like maybe top 3 albums, the other ones I also can't really say they're definitively a 4 through 10. But my first one I'm going to throw out here is the album from Napalm Death. Resentment is Always Seismic. It's kind of like it was intended to be a leftover album from their last release, basically like tracks they left on the cutting floor type of thing. But it ended up being just pretty much just balls of the wall badass album. Like they've been around for ages and ages, and their first albums, which is more grindcore, I to this day can't get into it at all. I think the production's terrible, and I just don't like it at all. But the last few albums have been a lot better. They've added a lot of industrial stuff into them, and Barney's vocals just keep getting better and better and better. And the first 2 tracks on this album here are just like pretty much just like a kick in the teeth. It's just balls of the wall great. I adore it.
And you said it's like basic, but like is it B-sides? What is
it's
it?
kind of, well, they threw some covers on there, but it's like off the last album, which I'm trying to think what it was actually called, but it's just stuff that didn't make it. All basically, it's leftovers off the album that it just didn't make it to the cut, I guess.
Yeah. See, that happens like the complete opposite end of the spectrum again. But the Red Hot Chili Peppers had a bunch of releases years ago, not that many years ago, but it was from the By the Way album, the one with the fly and the pill on it.
Yeah.
That was just kind of okay. There was a bunch of B-sides released, and I took all those and put them together on a playlist and kind of made a full album. And that to me, like, I call it an album because I put them all together, and they are from the same sessions. It's like really one of their better albums in my opinion. It was all stuff that Rick Rubin explained, that they bring all the songs to the table and they all weed them out, including him.
Mm-hmm.
And he says some of his favorite songs get left out of albums because of the band's choice. Like maybe Flea hates that one,
right?
And maybe and I'm not a massive Chili Peppers fan, but like I'm enough of a Chili Peppers fan. By the way, Unlimited Love would be on my bottom 10 albums of the year. That is fucking trash. I'm sorry, it sucks.
Because I think if System of a Down did that, steal this album.
Yeah,
it was pretty solid too.
It was solid, yeah, and that was just that was leftovers from what was it? Leftovers from Hypnotize, or was it?
I think it was after Toxicity, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that was a good one. Some of my favorite songs are off that album.
But when it comes to Napalm Death, for people who didn't like him from like ages ago, because they've been around for decades now, I would go back and check out the last album. Those in the I think it was like the album. The name of the album was crazy. Those of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism was their last album. I'll start back from there, and that and the newest album, you might actually enjoy their new stuff. So
I'll check.
They're worth revisiting. They may be they might be too much for you, but
I don't know. I mean, again, I stand by the last episode.
You can understand his lyrics too. So
then I might, because since we last did an episode, I have gotten into heavier and heavier, but I still can't do the growling, and I mean the deep growling. But maybe I will like them. I don't know. Maybe you'll hear a few albums that I've got in my top 10 and think maybe I will enjoy Napalm Death. But so I'll check that one out for sure. And I like this because we're not out here saying like, oh, Beyonce's Renaissance, it's so good. Like I'll go off topic a bunch because just naming our top 10 albums will take us no time. I fucking hate Beyonce. I don't even understand her music being like good.
I don't get it either.
I really don't. I don't get it at all. Like, she just seems way too into herself for me. So, I have a hard time listening to her music. And there's a lot of artists like that I do listen to. Like Rihanna's first album was fucking killer. Like female R&B / hip hop vocalists. Like there's a handful I really like, and not once have I liked Beyonce except for In Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child was awesome.
Yeah, like we both know we love our female rappers and stuff.
Yeah,
but
have you listened to Megan Thee Stallion's new album?
No,
it's okay. I haven't listened enough to like, but I liked her last one, which was basically a Napalm Death situation.
Yeah,
it was like called One for the Hotties or something, and it was really good. It was a bunch of freestyles and other stuff, and it was good.
But when it goes to the pop artist wise, I can like I said before, is like I can understand why people like certain artists. Like I might not like them, but I can respect Adele. I can respect Lady Gaga.
Yeah,
I can see the talent there.
Yeah, I won't just turn them off when they come on. It's nothing like that.
But I
Beyonce,
don't
I
get it.
turn off.
Of course, people say she's beautiful and all that, but that's
Not to me.
that's not in the context of what we're talking about.
No.
I just don't think the music's good.
No, I don't think the music's good, and I don't.
Repetitive as hell. I just can't do it.
I don't find her attractive either. Just saying that.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea. She just really seems way too into herself. Maybe I'm way off base, but as people on the outside looking in, that's just what it seems like. I've got my albums numbered. I'll stick with it, even though the exact science of it all is not even close to exact. But it's fairly decent because I put number 10 at 10 because it was my least favorite of the bunch, and number 9, and then the middle's all interchangeable. But my number 1 album of 2022, and it surprises me still.
Is it number 1?
It's number 1.
So you're starting at the top.
I'm starting. Well,
I started at the bottom.
I'll start at the bottom then. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said okay.
No.
So number 10. Well, this is more exciting then. I should have done this anyways. Number 10 is Denzel Curry. Melt My Eyes, See Your Future.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
And it was made mine.
It is a good one. It was. I had number 10 narrowed down to 3, and I listened to all 3 of them again today. I even threw Kendrick Lamar in there for good measure because I know he's highly regarded, and I like a lot of his songs, but I've yet to find a full album that I like.
Right. I can agree with that.
Totally respect him. Totally think he's a fucking poet through and through. Guy's great, but like pound for pound, like an album has to be good start to finish to me. And I like every song on Denzel Curry's album. I don't love every song, but actually, Neil, you introduced me to Denzel Curry, Rage Against the Machine cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that was good, even though he was very true to form. Like, some people that weren't Rage experts might have thought it was Rage. It was that close to good. It was really good. But this album, it's a straight, solid rap album to me. Nothing over fancy. He's not trying to get like too artsy fartsy or anything like that. Like, it's a straight ass rap album to me. No speed rap, no mumble, just good rap. And the highlights on it for me are Walkin'.
Yeah, Walkin's a really good one.
Walkin's damn good. X-Wing, Sanjuro, Zatoichi, and The Ills. I think it's The Ills. I may have wrote down my note program wrong, but that's the first rap album I've heard since Yellow Wolf. I'm a big Yellow Wolf fan, and he released like maybe 5 or 6 albums in 2021. He did collaborations with people, and then he released one of his own, and I liked all of those. So this was the first rap album I've listened to multiple times this year. So Denzel Curry, number 10. I was happy to put a hip hop artist in there, legitimately, because he beat out the other 2 that I had narrowed down to the top 10.
I mean, if I was that album would be in my top 15 easily. I can't really even think of another. There's an artist called Scarlord.
I've heard of that,
but he's more rap metal. Like, I mean, actual, like, I don't know if it's actually even considered trap, whatever it is. I can't say the actual genre because he's kind of his own thing. But yeah, that'd be about the only other rap I might even put out there.
Well, I gotta grab this bottle open. I had another one in contention. It was Megan Thee Stallion, but I haven't listened to it enough. It came out like last week, so, and I tried to give it a spin today, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this would fall somewhere between 11 and 15. Fucking beer. God.
Foam tire, huh?
I'm gonna stink the rest of the day, night, evening. Who you got at number 9, Neil?
The next one is a black metal outfit, Waigadude. There's always blood.
Say what?
It's called Waigadude.
Is that like that special beef that costs a whole lot of
that's
money?
Wagyu. No, that's Wagyu, isn't it? There's always blood at the end of the road. There's always blood at the end of the road. Yes, that's correct.
Always blood. Okay, explain. Break this down for me, because the ones I haven't heard of, I'm going to want some details on their sound.
It is
and what
very,
makes the
very
album
aggressive black metal. From start to finish, the very first song, which is my favorite track on the whole album, FN Scar 16, it's literally just, it's relentless nonstop the whole time. But tastefully good, I guess.
Okay. And when we're done with this, I if you could, I want you to send me your notes, because I'm going to put tags in the video. And I want to check out, and if it's good enough to make your top 10,
right,
I'm going to find something I like for sure.
I mean, I love the aggressive stuff, and it's not there's not too much fat on it. Like I can't stand like, even though I love aggressive music, I don't like an aggressive album to overstay its welcome. I like the 30 to 40 minute run times.
Me too. 10 songs is like great.
Especially I don't like albums being bloated.
No.
And this album just blows by for me. For me, it's like when I'm doing my exercises and all that, it's perfect for me because, like I said, it keeps the blood pumping. I love this album a lot. It was like when I first heard it, I think it came out in. Yeah, it came out in January, so it was like right at the beginning of the year. It was like the first time of pretty much the year. I'm like, man, this is gonna make my top 10 list already, and it's like we got 12 more months basically to go. I don't know if I'll end up making top 10 by the year's end, but as right now, it's still hanging pretty strong.
That happens. There's a bunch of mine that have been out most of the year. Actually, probably half my list, maybe. But what style did you say they were?
It's black metal.
Okay. Can't wait to get the list because I'm all about finding new stuff right now. 9 for me is Health, Disco 4 Part 2.
Never heard them. I've heard of the band, but never actually listened to them.
Okay. Well, it's industrial mostly.
Okay.
Like I'll go through my notes and then the highlights will explain it a little more. But I enjoy the hell out of this group. It's industrial, but it's like every track almost is a side project. So it's Health and Trent Reznor, Health and Lamb of God, Health and what's Poppy.
Right.
I've never listened to Poppy, but it's like collaborations the whole way through, but it has that Health sound written all over it. It's almost like Brass Against. Do you know who they are?
Mm-mm.
Like the brass band on YouTube that'll do like covers of Rage Against the Machine and Tool, and Sophia something is one of their singers, and she'll cover a bunch. It's pretty good if you look up Brass Against. It's a brass band, but they have a guitar, bass. She went viral a little while back because she pissed on a dude's face on stage, which you wouldn't expect out of a brass band. But it's pretty good stuff. But they have multiple singers. It's not just one person. It's almost like Allison Chains-ish. Jerry Cantrell sings some, Lane Staley sings some. But the highlights on this, if you like the John Wick soundtrack, which I'm a big fan of the John Wick soundtracks because they're weird, ambient, sometimes industrial. This reminds me of that, but better. And the highlights from the album are Isn't Everyone, and that is a track with Trent Reznor. Sounds like Nine Inch Nails and Health. It's fantastic. Dead Flowers with Poppy, and then Gnostic Flesh / Mortal Hell. That one's done with a couple hip hop artists. I didn't write them down. Didn't recognize them, but you like industrial, so
it's up there. It's like pretty much my second love, that or synthwave.
Health is worth a listen. You might really dig Health.
Yep.
They're pretty good. Who do you got at number 8? I wish Trent Reznor would release something, actually. I wish Nine Inch Nails would do something.
I mean, I just wish he released this normal album. But yeah. But the next one was actually a collab. It's not necessarily a split, but a collab between Mizmor and Thou. They're both sludge acts. Mizmor is he's a solo black metal artist. He's basically black metal, sludge, and doom. But he, of course, teamed up with Thou, which is a pretty well-known American sludge band. I think they're from Massachusetts.
I like sludge, so yeah, that'll be something I'll check out from your list too.
But the song Drover on this album here, albeit 9 minutes long or so, is easily my favorite song on this. I've ran this album to death probably when it came out. I'm not kidding you. It's like a constant flow. Like for me, I ran it to the ground. I mean, I can still listen to it right now. But Brian's vocals from Thou, him and Mizmor's vocals together, it's just, to me they mesh so well, and I really think they should just be a band in general. Don't be a split anymore. Just be a band. And I don't normally like a lot of sludge anymore because it's kind of getting pretty much just boring to me. Because like the long run times is why I can't get into prog metal. It's like it's the long run times. I don't know. Like maybe the ADD is getting to me or something.
Yeah.
So it has to keep me engaged, and this keeps me engaged for the long run times.
I was listening to some sludge today, like just looking at albums released in 2022 and just looking for a needle in the haystack to add in at the last minute, which I did find one. But it's some of the sludge metal out there is too muddy. It's too indecipherable. Like it's too like welded together. and you can't really pick out any technical prowess sometimes. So I had a hard time with that, because I do like, I don't know if you would consider King Buffalo sludge or not.
Ish.
Yeah, that proggy sludgish. I like King Buffalo a lot, but it's decipherable. Like, I can hear what's going on. And today, some of the shit I listen to, I could not hear at all, not even a little bit. 8. I've got 8. Little known, at least judging by what I use. I have Apple Music. I have YouTube Music. I use YouTube Music most of the time because it's just what I've been using for a long time. And this band only has 200 and some subscribers on their YouTube, but maybe they're bigger on Spotify and stuff. I don't know, but it's a band called Terror, and the album's called Pain into Power. It is very Pantera-ish with elements of hardcore punk. Little known band. This was the first album I've heard of theirs, and it kicked me in the face. Like, it's short. It's like a 30-minute runtime, maybe less, maybe 28 minutes. And it's just banger after banger. It's in your face and it's out.
18 minutes.
No, it's not.
This one?
Yeah.
18 minutes.
It's longer than 18 minutes. I swear to God, it's longer than 18 minutes. 10 songs, 18 minutes. Okay, maybe it is 18 minutes. But it's 18 minutes of pleasure into pain, or pain into power, or whatever the fuck it was called. I think you would at least appreciate it, because it verges on the side of either thrash or just straight metal. Like, it's pretty good.
I think it's like stuff that fast, you're probably like actually listening to grindcore and not knowing what grindcore is.
Maybe because I don't, I'm not at a point where I can separate them or not.
Yeah, because grindcore is like the point where they have like 30-second to a minute and a half songs.
Well, here, I guarantee we're not going to get
like a copyright flag.
We're not going to get a copyright flag. So I'm gonna throw on the best song, because the highlights off this album to me are Outside the Lies, 1000 Lies. This band likes singing about lies. Can't Help But Hate with Corpse Grinder.
Yeah.
And The Hardest Truth. And I'll just play a quick snippet, not long enough. I think 30 seconds or less, you can't get hit with any kind of thing. But here's Can't Help But Hate with Corpse Grinder.
Pretty nice riff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You listen to grindcore.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like it a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah,
I jammed this album for hours one day. Like, it just, I guess it's easy to do when it's 18 minutes.
Yeah,
I kept hearing the songs I like. I was like, oh yeah, that again. Yeah. But that shows where I'm at in my musical taste here lately. And then I'll pop on the fucking Beatles after that. But yeah, that album to me, 18 minutes of pure ecstasy to me, because I'm like, I fucking love every minute of it, and I enjoy Corpse Grinder on that song. I'm not a Cannibal Corpse guy though. I got to admit, like, right. I'm just not. Maybe that'll change. I don't know, but I did try to listen to every album because I had planned on doing an episode with Bill Colmer. I don't know if you knew him or not. We were going to do a whole episode about Cannibal Corpse, and I just couldn't fucking make it all the way through.
You listen to one album other than production values, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. The production value is real bad.
Other than vocal changes between Corpse and Chris Barnes, it's basically production values.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that, so I did skim through every album and came to the conclusion, like, it's probably not going to happen for me. But are you on 8?
I am on 7 now.
7.
I don't know if it's on your list, and maybe actually. Meshuggah Immutable.
Yeah. Yep. I listened to it today, and it was probably top 15, because I'm starting to really dig them too.
Meshuggah is easily
love-hate is what I keep reading.
For me, like, it's not hyperbole. They're probably my top 5 favorite bands easily, without question. They're in my top 5. There's like a rotating top 5, but they're there at least somewhere. The vocals are always great. The riffs are always great. And my favorite track on this album was Ligature Marks. That riff at the beginning of that was insane. The production's always great. Thomas's drums are always perfect. It's not their best album, but it's probably maybe like the third best album in my opinion for them.
Is it Obson? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Obson's my first favorite album.
That seems to be a lot of people's like high up in their
production. The production is like it's unmatched on that album.
Yeah.
I wish I could put a higher in this, but I think the ones that I have higher on my list is more deserving than this because they're not reinventing the wheel on this one.
And it's pretty new too, right? Hasn't that been released in the last 2 months?
It came out in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit newer than that.
But I do enjoy it a lot. But like I said, they're not reinventing the wheel, so it's nothing that's going to it's not going to raise the bar for me as far as putting it that much higher.
7 for me, straying far away from what both of us have talked about so far, and really surprising to me actually. And I tried to get Heather, my wife, into this, and she just couldn't do it. But 7 for me is Liam Gallagher. Come on, you know. I never cared for Oasis growing up. Actually, I don't like Oasis hardly at all. There's a few moments like Don't Look Back in Anger on the Howard Stern show where Noel Gallagher played that. Fucking beautiful. And that's a good song. And there's a few songs that are just, you can't help but like. And I don't fight the urge to like them. I just don't really like them that much. But Liam Gallagher releases this album, and for some reason I really, really like it. So this is kind of a, like, when I just want to relax, this is one of those albums I can throw on to relax, because it is very Oasis-like, but it's more upbeat, and it's a little more rocky. And of course, from the highlights of this album, the song More Power, the opening track, Diamond in the Dark, Too Good for Giving Up, and Everything's Electric, which, wouldn't you know it, Dave Grohl plays drums on.
Yeah.
So, and that's not even what got me onto it. Like, I heard that song the first time, I was like, yeah, it's fine. But it grew on me, and the whole album as a whole just is really, really solid. Like, I like this album more than anything I've ever heard from Oasis.
Liam is the problem brother, right?
He's the I hate to call him an asshole, but he's the fucking outspoken prick.
The entitled one, whatever. Yeah. Oasis is one of those bands I love, but I forget that I love. It's like, oh yeah, I like Oasis. Then I go back and listen to it, and I'm like, man, this stuff's really good, man. But then I just forget about it again. Then it just pops up occasionally that, yeah, I really like this band. I just remember always being saddened by that. I think they was doing an Unplugged on MTV back in the day when MTV was good. But I remember Liam was having this episode of being an asshole, and Noel had to go out there on the stage by himself and get in obvious like emotional pain because his brother's an asshole and had to perform alone out there. Remember that?
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, it was a really shitty moment because Liam was up in the balcony, pretty much mocking them. They had to see him alone. He's them was crying on stage and everything. It was bad. It was in the behind the music back. Yeah. I just remember that. But yeah, I like Oasis. I might actually have to give it a whirl.
It's pretty good, and I've heard Noel Gallagher and the Flying Birds, I think is a group.
I know you had a solo release not too long ago.
Yeah, and I can't get into it. I've tried that, but Liam solo music to me is kind of superior. And I know Noel was kind of the guy for Oasis that really carried. They were both good, but the
caveat is I can't listen to Wonderwall or Supernova anymore because they're so damn played out.
Yeah, it's like Smells Like Teen Spirit level shit.
Yeah, it's like I can't do it.
Right. And then I was talking about that with someone the other day. Man, what were we talking about? It was an older band, actually. It was Heart. I was talking to my buddy Bronson, and he was talking about how much he loves Heart. I was like, yeah, Heart's fucking awesome. He's like, not Barracuda or anything. I was like, well, you know what? That sucks because Barracuda is a badass song. It's just overplayed. If it wasn't overplayed, it would still be like...
Yeah, Heart's awesome, man.
No shit. And Barracuda's a jam, but it's so fucking drove into the ground. And that I hate when that happens. Like, Smells Like Teen Spirit is also a badass song, but it pains me to even say that because I'm so fucking sick of it. In 2022, I'm sick of it.
We can say it about a lot of things. Like, we obviously both love Alice in Chains, and I can't do it anymore.
Man, yeah, well...
It has to be deep cuts. It has to be off their self-titled album for me, or after.
Yes, yeah, self-titled or
even like Dirt, man. That album's obviously a masterpiece,
Dirt's
man. It's a 10 of 10, but I can't listen to it anymore.
Yeah, it's too much. I've probably heard. Well, albums like that and Nevermind, which honestly In Utero is more for me.
Right.
And but albums like that, I can't go to any of them because they're wore out. Like if I had a physical copy, they wouldn't work.
They'd be there for like memory sakes. They're retired to the rafters.
Yeah, exactly. American Idiot of Green Day, to me, that's one of the best albums of all time. I can't listen to it hardly. There's so many of those. All right, so I was on 7, which means you're on 6. What's 6? You're going to like my 6, I think, by the way.
I've already spoke to you about these guys. This one is Septic Flesh.
Oh, yeah.
A
I
Greek
tried that.
metal band. A symphonic orchestral death metal band from Greek. Yeah. This album's production was insane on this one. I'm all about production.
Me too.
I can't handle bad production, and they always bring the production. And Coming Storm was my repeat listen on the album. I listened to that dozens of times. Because for me, like if I like an album, I at least try to give it back at least 3 runs back to back to like let it sink in.
Oh, yeah,
like
you got to.
Let it marinate a little bit, I guess. And of course, it's not my favorite album of theirs. That's Good as Communion, which is well over a decade now, probably longer than that. And once again, I'm all about the runtime on this one. It didn't ever say it's welcome. But for this one, they probably had the best orchestra. Would it be like orchestral sounds? I guess would be the correct terminology.
Makes sense to me.
I think the best mix of it on this album. I really enjoyed this.
So I listened to that, I think yesterday or the day before, and maybe I didn't listen to it long enough. The problem for me getting into all this heavier stuff, which I've always had the heavy gene. Like I loved Pantera back in the day. I loved, there's a handful of I always loved Metallica more so back in the day than I do now, but I'm not hating on them just to hate on them. Like I still like Metallica, but it's kind of the same thing with all the albums we talked about that's hard to go back and listen to. Like I hear a Metallica song and it's pretty much wore out for me, and there is better thrash out there.
Yep.
But real quick, just for the sake of talking about everything that pops to our minds, we may have already talked about this, but how do you feel about Load and Reload?
I don't think they're bad albums.
I love them.
Yeah, I don't think they're bad at all. People got butthurt about their change.
I think it was a great change. Like I think that it was it was a natural progression too, because the Black Album wasn't thrash.
No.
Like they dialed it down a good bit to a sludgier.
It's more of a rock album, honestly.
Yeah. And I can go back and listen to Load and Reload every once in a while.
That's
but
what's weird about it. Like I'm obviously more on the heavy side anymore, but I will definitely go back and listen to those first.
Me too, because I can't listen to the others because it's all overplayed.
Well, also like the first, like their actual thrash albums, my complaint was always they ran 7 to 8 minutes long. I'm like, stop. 4 minutes is enough for thrash songs. Like please, you don't need to be that damn long.
Yeah, they're not proggy, but I do like what's it called off Ride the Lightning, the Call of Cthulhu or
Cthulhu,
maybe
what it is.
I do still love that song, but yeah, there's just I don't know. I Load and Reload. I they have a special place in my heart for some reason. Anyways, is it on me now?
It is.
Okay, 6. Hopefully you enjoy this choice. This is out of all the heavier stuff I've been getting into lately. Multiple bands have kind of creeped in for me. I can mention them because they're not a possibility for this list, but Gamma Bomb I'm loving lately.
They're very, very good.
Big time loving Gamma Bomb. Let's see. God, there's more. Megadeth. I never knew how much I love Megadeth. I can't wait for that fucking album.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cannot wait for that album. Another band.
Hold on a second. How does it make you feel the opening for Five Finger Death Punch?
Who?
Megadeth.
That's bullshit.
They are right now, yeah.
What?
They're the main. They're the act before Five Finger right now.
At a festival stage or on a tour? Fuck that, dude. I'm sorry. Five Finger Death Punch is trash.
They're god awful, but they bring the money, man.
Why? How?
The far right.
Just the covers.
The far right radio rockers.
I guess so. Yeah. They suck. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. They're just.
I am.
Good.
I'm being disrespectful. They're terrible.
They're terrible. Like terrible. They're going on tour with Brantley fucking Gilbert, for God's sake.
Yeah, but Megadeth, Dave knows where the money's at, so I can't really hate on him.
Well, no, and Megadeth isn't, it's not like Megadeth is Metallica. That's what he's been butthurt about all these years.
Yeah.
He's not, Megadeth is not, they're not Metallica.
No.
Not commercially. But as far as the band goes, I think they're better.
Right.
And I can't wait for that new album. But number 6 for me, the last week probably, I have become such a fucking fan of Creator.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. So Hate Uber Alles is, I may not even be pronouncing that right. I think of the dead Kennedys. I think of the dead Kennedys when I think of Uber Alles. But this fucking album, like, I know Creator's probably got a ton of really good shit. They got like 15 albums. And
yeah, I think I've seen him back in mid 2000s when it was like Nile and King Diamond. Yeah, 'cause I wanted to go see Nile, and the Creator was the headliner.
Dude,
Raising the Flag of Hate. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's a badass song.
It's awesome. I bought a t-shirt yesterday because I want a Creator t-shirt. I'm that into Creator right now that I had to have that t-shirt. But as far as 2022 goes, is there a catchier fucking thrash metal song than the title track from this album? Because the title track from this album is like, it doesn't sound like something you'd hear on the radio, but it's catchy enough to where it could almost be a fucking hit. Like, I don't know if you remember the song or not, but
Not offhand, I don't.
it's fucking good. And the whole album, like front to back, it feels like they've continued to grow their sound, at least from my little bit of experience from them. It seems like they have progressed without changing their sound. Like somehow they sound like a 2022 metal band, even though they've been around since the 80s.
Right. It's pretty much like a band I'm going to say next. So
It's just fucking good. But the highlights off this one, Hate Uber Alles, which is the title track, Strongest of the Strong, Midnight Sun, and Dying Planet. Mm-hmm. Those were my favorites off there. What's your number 5? Obviously, it's going to be similar to Creator.
I was just thinking about Creator though, because because MySpace back in the day, you could always have a quote on beside your photo.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Mine is Raising the Flag of Hate. Remember Flag of Hate? That's such a badass song. I just remember that.
They got some sweet ass album covers too.
Yeah, man, I really do like them. Mine is Voivod, Secret Anarchy.
Listen to them today.
They've been around for ages, about as long as I've been alive. And this is the first album I ever listened to them. They were on a respected YouTuber of mine's, a favorite YouTuber of mine's halfway point list.
Yeah.
And he also said he's like pretty much in the same wheelhouse as me. He loves metal and industrial. And then he said this is his first time I ever listened to him. And it got this far on his list. So I'm like, I'll give it a shot. Then, of course, I fell in love with it. And it's like, would you agree, like a thrash proggy sound?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not just thrash.
Yeah, it's very proggy in a lot of parts. But, man, I tell you right now, it's God's My Witness, this is my favorite bass sound I've ever heard in my entire life. The bassist on here is amazing. The sound's amazing. And the song Planet Eaters is my 100% go-to on this one. The bass, I just can't get past it, man. The production values on this, and I only think the runtime's 9 songs, 47 minutes. And then Chameleon came out on my birthday. It was meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, meant to be. I'm going to listen to that tomorrow because I listened to some of it today.
Yeah.
But I made a determination that it probably wouldn't hit the top 10, so I bailed a few songs in. But some things take time to soak in. Like, Turnstile was a band that my buddy Lawrence suggested to me, and I listened to him. I was like, yeah, not really my thing. But I went back to him for some reason. Like, I love them. That's one of the albums from 2021, Glow On, that I went back to. Yep. And I was like, yeah, that can't be on my list because it's not the right year. But sometimes stuff just sinks in. So, yeah, I'm going to give Voivod
the thing is,
shot.
like, when I found out I liked them, I'm like, well, I guess I have albums all the way back from 1984 to listen to.
Yeah.
Even back then, the production was still good, and the bass was still good.
Yeah.
Even between changing members. And I don't know, man, I'm really excited about when I find something new, I get excited, especially when you have 30 years of music.
Me too.
It's like 40 years of music, man. I'm excited.
That's being Creator. Like,
they've been around for ages, as long as we've been alive.
Yeah, and I'm super fucking pumped to cram every bit of their music into my head, even if it turns me into Satan's follower. They won't. But number 5 for me, there will be some eye rolls if anyone from the from the Neil camp of longtime metalheads, I'll get some eye rolls, but you know what? I don't fucking care. I think this album was an absolute triumph as a first stab at this genre. Dave Grohl is like my Beatle. I fucking love Dave Grohl. I love everything he does. I think he's a fucking wonderful human being.
Walks on water.
Walks on water. He is my Beatle. He's my fucking George Harrison or Paul McCartney.
Right.
He just is. Like, I love the Foo Fighters more than most people ever dream about loving the Foo Fighters, because I just think they're one of the best pure pound for pound rock bands ever, honestly, especially American. But Dream Widow, his little side project from the Studio 666 movie, he that this is the Foo Fighters. This is the band, but just called Dream Widow because they changed genres. And it's not all, it doesn't all fit into one genre. Like, there's a few tracks, and I'll talk about them in a minute. It is a mixed bag of metal or harder rock.
Right.
The highlights being the song Cold, which almost could be mistaken for a really hard Foo Fighters song. Fucking great jam. Like, one of my favorite songs of the year. Come All Ye Unfaithful and Becoming. Some of the tracks on here are straight thrash. Some of them are more up the line of, shit. Just a blank space. Lemmy. Who Lemmy was from?
Kilmeister.
Huh?
Lemmy Kilmeister.
From the band name escaped me.
Motorhead.
Some of these are very Motorheadish, which makes sense because Dave was friends with Lemmy. There's different flavors of metal on this album, and it's a short one. It's like a 30-minute runtime album, but man, it kicks you in the face. Like, and Dave Grohl can literally do anything he wants to do. He can do it.
Yeah.
And to me, he proved it. And I did get some validation from my buddy Lawrence, who said it is a sleeper album. Like, it's truly kind of a sleeper album.
Right.
Have you listened to it?
I have. I can't say I didn't give it my full attention.
Yeah. I was just really impressed with it. Like, of course, that a rocker can change gears and go into another gear.
Yeah.
We've seen all kinds of rock stars do that and do different things. And I just fucking love that album. Like, love it 100%. And it's heavy enough to where the only person I know that loves Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters more than me is my wife, Heather. And she does not like this album, which tells me that they accomplished their goal of being heavier on this album.
And we've spoken before about the American rock bands not being really prevalent at all. So.
No, they're not.
It's very small.
Yeah, and even though I believe that the Foo Fighters are one of the best bands of all time, because I truly do, and my quick analysis of that is ignore the hits. Ignore Everlong. Ignore, well, not The Pretender's a damn good song. Ignore, and Everlong is too, but ignore Monkey Ranch. Ignore Learn to Fly. When you dive into their albums, there is some really...
That first album was great.
Yeah, there's
Exhaust is my favorite song of theirs.
I like it. Yeah, it's really good.
The Static one, yeah, I love it, man.
But if you dive in, like Wasting Light, pound for pound, fucking amazing rock album. There's so much good shit that you just haven't heard because they're not singles.
Yep.
That to me make that band an all-time great in my opinion. But I could talk about that forever, and I'm not going to. Who you got at number 4, Neil?
The next one is White Ward with the album False Light. A Ukrainian.
Never heard of them at all.
They're pretty popular when it comes to the black metal, death metal scene. They're from the Ukraine, so this album was pretty heavy for them to make because they literally wrote it out during, dark days over there right
During
now.
the last 6 months?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Well, a lot because they released a lot of them as singles and they ended up constructing the album a little thereafter.
Gotcha.
But of course, like I said, they go from anywhere from being a prog, black metal, death metal, even mixing saxophone throughout their songs a lot. It is a little long. I mean, it's eight songs an hour and 6 minutes, but once again, it keeps my attention the whole time. And I always go back to the song Phoenix. And Phoenix and Cronus are both on my playlist. Albeit, like I said, they're kind of long listens, so you gotta let them, play themselves out. But if you love that type of music or love anything that's like somewhat refreshing in those two genres, you'll love it.
I am eager to get my hands on your list because I've not heard of that one, and I've maybe been
Also,
a little.
The cover's awesome too.
I do like
Just
the
a
cover
little
of
house.
that. I've maybe been a little overconfident lately because I feel like I've crammed in so much I never gave a chance.
Right.
So much I never heard.
There's a lot of catching up to do. Like even like
Yeah.
if I no matter like when I got into synthwave, man, albeit a lot of it sounds kind of like similar because he can only do so much with that type of music.
Right.
But I'm like, man, I got so much to listen to. I have to catch up, man.
And I like that too. And honestly, you got me into that too. You got me into Gary Newman, and Gary Newman.
I love Gary Newman.
So do I. Yeah. And I never knew. I never fucking knew. But like now, this is no bullshit at all. I bet once, and I'm sure you're like me. You listen to so much music. There's some shit you don't listen to for months.
Right.
Like that's just the nature of the beast when you like a lot of music. I probably pop on one of the last 4 or 5 Gary Newman albums.
His last 3 are perfect in my opinion.
They're very, very good, and I guarantee I listen to one at least once every 3 months. Like especially the one you suggested to me.
Yeah.
Since that was the one that got me.
Savages, yeah. Souls from Broken World.
Yep. Since you suggested that to me and it got me kind of hooked on him a little bit, like that's the one I go to more than others.
One, yeah.
But I fucking love that shit. Like it's so.
That was my album of the year that year. I know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. 4 for me. No one's probably heard of this band, which is one of the reasons why I want to throw tags in the YouTube video that I will create after this podcast. Maybe some people have heard of them. I saw the name and recognized it. But again, on YouTube Music, they have like 200 and some subscribers. And it is Ithaca. The album They Fear Us.
That's a badass album.
It's a fucking badass album. That's my number 4.
I forgot about it, honestly, yeah.
That's my number 4. Lawrence hadn't heard of him. Actually, I told Lawrence to check him out outside of our group conversation. I was like, I can't share this one in the little group that we've been talking music because I don't want Neil to know it's in my top because I don't know if he knows him, doesn't know him. And he listened to it. He's like, that sucked. No. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I think
that album's a banger. It might actually made the list if I remembered it.
Dude, that's a banger. It smacked me in the mouth, start to finish. And this is the one that I didn't hear till today. Like I was searching through albums and I saw Ithaca. I was like, I know Ithaca. Like I've at least heard of Ithaca. And I put that album on, and as soon as that fucking opening track came out, I was like, God damn. And every track after, I was like, oh fuck, this is going to creep into my top 10, if not higher.
Yeah.
So then I started cross comparing it with other albums, and it's just too good. And this album, I don't know if you like him or not. I'm going to assume you don't. But this album, the first thing I thought of when the last track ended, I was like, Spirit Box who? Like,
yeah, I can't stand them.
I don't like them at all. Like, I can't get into that shit. It's like, it's heavier Evanescence is all it is to me.
Yeah.
But this album, with some occasional female vocal tracks mixed in, I was like, man, why is everybody on Spirit Box's junk? Like, this is so much better.
There's way better female vocals out there, trust me.
Yeah.
Way better.
I don't even like Ginger, and those female vocals
I can't either. That's just a bunch of...
It's a viral thing. It's a viral...
Is that... And the fans are so hard over that. It's just stupid, man. You can't even say nothing negative about it. You'll get crushed.
Is it that bad?
It's bad, yeah. It's stupid. All the White Knights and everything. It's too much.
They're going to be the new Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah.
But yeah, this album was like, what the fuck, why is Spirit Box catching so much love when this band is... And that's why I said, how does this band have so few subscribers? It's like, it was a revelation for me today. Like, if you like heavy and fast with peaks and valleys of occasional tempo changes, this shit is up your alley. Highlights off this one: number 5, They Fear Us and Cremation Party. It's a fuck killer album.
It is. I agree.
I'm glad that you knew it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I wanted I wanted validation on it from someone.
You might need to check out Metal Trenches on YouTube.
Okay.
That's my dude. I'm a Patreon member and stuff.
Metal Trenches. I'll just go subscribe now. I am a new metalhead. It's just, very new.
Yeah, but my next one obviously probably ain't a surprise to you, but I got the recent Ghost album.
I'm glad that you do.
Yeah. The thing is, like, am I saying it right? Impera?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost Wise, it's not my favorite album by them. I of course like them, but like,
it's hard to beat Meloria.
It is, but like I did like Spillways a lot. Cassarion was great, and Watcher in the Sky was great. But outside of that, I mean, to me, this song's like were so good they elevated the rest of the album for me. I can listen to the whole album and have no complaints, but none of them really stick out to me that much. And to be frank, the singles are, to me, they picked the wrong singles for the airwaves. But like those 3 songs that I mentioned, "Watcher in the Sky," "Concerning on the Spillways," that I love those songs a lot. They're probably some of the stronger songs that Tobias has released in his career.
And how about the production value?
The production's great.
It's not just great; it's fucking immaculate.
But like, yeah, like the singles, man. It's like, come on, man. You can do so much better.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I had thoughts. I'll add some thoughts here in a few, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm trying to think what that song's called. Where's it at? But
my real quick, Heather, like I bought that. It takes a lot for me to buy an album on vinyl, a lot, because it's expensive.
Yeah, $40.
You know, I've got a family. It takes a lot, but I bought Impera on vinyl. I had to.
Yeah.
And I was playing it one day, and Hunter's Moon came on.
Yeah, I can't. It's even got Halloween reference. It's like from the Halloween and everything.
I know it is, and I thought the same thing, and I'll get to my actual thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But Heather works at the theater, so last October or whatever when Halloween was out, that song is at the credits. It plays at the end, and that song came on, and she just fucking snapped her head at me, and she was like, "Why is this on?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "I fucking hate this song. It sounds like the 80s. Why are you listening to this? It's like Def fucking Leppard." I'm like, "No,
that's why, honey. That's why."
Yeah. And I was like, so every time from then on, there's been a running joke. Like, I'll just walk by her and I'll look at her. I'm like, "It's a hunter's moon," and she'll be like, "Fuck off!" Like, just fuck straight off. She hates that song with a passion.
But like I say about the singles, like I think it's 20s. The song, the single.
I hated 20s.
I like the song other than the chorus, like in 20s, in the 20s. I don't know.
I like it now. It grew on me a lot.
The thing is, like, obviously, I think the album's good enough to be in my top 10, but it's not the strongest, of course. But like I said, the songs I really do like are really, really solid, and there's no skippable songs.
And that's glowing that it's you don't even think it's their strongest, and it's in your top 10.
If there's no skippable songs, I'd have to at least say it's worth being up there for me.
Exactly. Yep. If you could jam an album start to finish, and that is a love-hate relationship too, because I mean, that guy's got some shiny vocals. I mean, he's got some shiny, soft, very 80s driven vocals, and they've really grown on me. He's grown on me as a vocalist. Like at first, I know why. I know why he's the vocalist. I know he didn't want to be the vocalist, and it just worked. It just happened to work out to where he pretty much had to.
Right.
I'm glad it worked out that way. That show me and you went to, that's still in like
it's top. It's tops for me.
That was great.
It's up there for me.
It was a really, really good fucking show, and I actually still regret that we didn't go watch the last time they come around. I hope they come around again because I would love to hear this
I'm sure they will.
I would love to hear this album. At least, a handful of songs off of it. I would love to hear it. But 3 for me, third overall. Jack White, Fear of the Dawn. This is where my shit gets a little more conventional. I've always loved the White Stripes, like always. A lot of it's overplayed to me. I have a hard time listening to a lot of it. But Jack White's solo career has been just okay to me. Like, it's been fine. I like his music, but it was never White Stripes for me. But Fear of the Dawn, which is the first of 2 albums he's released this year, is this is the best thing I've heard since the White Stripes out of Jack White. I was stuck on the song Taking Me Back, which came out as a single before either of these albums released. That song is unlike anything I've ever heard before. Like, I've never heard a song like that. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
Mm-mm.
I've never heard a song like that. Like, Taking Me Back was like, holy shit. It like kicked me in the face and was like, there was kind of a revival the last 9 months maybe of 80s sounds being mixed into modern music. There's been kind of an 80s revival and 90s. You see all the fuck kids wear Nirvana shirts now. but the 80s have kind of creeped back into music a little bit, and I never realized how much I would welcome that.
Right.
And there was elements of 80s in this song, and elements of White Stripes, and elements of Jack solo, and elements of weird sounds I've never heard before that only Jack White can make somehow. I don't know how he thinks of this shit. But that song fucking hooked me. And I was like, God damn it, that's going to be the only good song on the album. The album's going to come out. I'm going to hate it all. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Like, this album is cool as fuck from front to back. There's just so much here. I can't remember who's on Heidi Ho, but that's one of the highlights I've got. Taking Me Back, Fear of the Dawn, White Raven, Heidi Ho, What's the Trick? That Was Then, This Is Now. That's a lot of highlights from an album. Like, and that's because this album is so damn strong front to back. Like, it's an absolute journey. Hold on, I think it was Q-Tip that's on the song Heidi Ho. I've got to know just for the fact. Yeah, it was Q-Tip. And like, I heard that song as the second single and I was like, that's weird. I don't know how I feel about it, but I was really just blown away by Taking Me Back, and I had a hard time adjusting afterwards because that song's a fucking banger. But this whole album, front to back, fucking great. Then he released Entering Heaven Alive. It's more low key, like softer White Stripes. Like, the whole album, it's almost like he did a experimental rock album and followed it up with a traditional folky White Stripes-ish album, kind of, or more Jack White solo kind of album. I didn't feel it as much, so I barely listened to it. But this album, fucking stellar, like front to back. It's one of the coolest albums I think I've ever listened to.
Things like White Stripes, I never hated them. And of course, I like some of the material. I never listened to much of his Dead Weather stuff or any of his other solo.
Yeah, I didn't listen to Recounters or Dead Weather a whole lot, but yeah. I liked them okay, just not enough to listen to full album.
Yeah, it's one of those things with them. I was like, obviously he's talented, and I like some of his stuff, obviously. But it's like, I don't know. I never venture out to listen to it. I don't know. Maybe I should give it a shot. But like, I don't know. I guess he never scratched it for me.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, I don't even remember why I got on a kick. I know it was like maybe late 90s, early 2000s. It was probably early 2000s. But when the video came out for like their first hit, which was like almost like a Lego-like video that was constantly changing.
Well, it was during the jam band era with the Hives and Strokes. Yes. It was like during that movement.
Garage rock shit. Yeah. And that song, I can't even fucking remember it now, but it was their first hit.
About a Girl, wasn't it? No,
About a Girl, yeah. No, yeah, that's it. It was About a Girl.
Something like that. Yeah.
Or something like that. Nirvana, About a Girl. Maybe it was like something. Anyways, that song hit, and I was like, okay, I dig this because I like garage rock. But yeah, this album, man, it's fucking. If you haven't listened to anything, like, just hit play, and if the first track doesn't do anything for you, you can bail because the first track is Taking Me Back.
SpongeBob memeing out, huh? It's like, all right, I'm gonna head out now.
Yep, you're either out or you're in, and that song had me fucking all in, like 100% in. It was really difficult not to make that my number one because, to me, so far this year, there's 3 albums that have just been albums that I will probably listen to for the foreseeable future, and Jack White was one of them.
Okay, with my second one, I wanted it to be my first one when the release is coming towards me. I wanted it to be, but it's Imperial Triumphant, Spirit of Ecstasy.
I had a feeling you'd throw them in there. I know you love them.
Yeah, I love them to death. They're also great guys. I've met them before. They've spoken to me for over half an hour at a show before. They've really kind of welcoming. But it made it to the top 2. It didn't get my top release of the year. But I mean, as high on them as I am, I was still pleasantly surprised because they still mix it up. The song "Death on the Highway" it's a fucking heater. It's brutal as hell, and of course they're like avant-garde as avant-garde could be as far as mixing it up, never following the same formula. This is probably the best production on any other albums they've ever had. And plus, like with their second single, I think it was their second one. I also mentioned the Barker on the last cast was Mercurius Gilded, which had Kenny G and his son playing.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
The Kenny G playing sax during the solo of it.
The Kenny G.
Yeah, the Kenny G. Because Imperial Triumph, but they're pretty well known in the jazz community in New York, so they have the connections and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but Kenny G, that's just going to show you how he feels about him. If he's willing to put his mark on a black metal avant-garde band, you know what I mean? But Death on the Highway is by far my favorite track on the album. Of course, the mentioned Mercurius Gilded, the one with Kenny G in it, is also fantastic. And they have a running guest spot, Yoshiko Ohara. She's from a New York band called Bloody Panda, I believe. But she's been on 3 of their albums, and she's always doing guest vocals. And the only thing she does in her guest vocals is pretty much just scream the whole time.
Yeah.
Like a blood-curdling scream, just screaming her ass off. But it's always like, when they're going for the eerie feeling in their songs, she's always in the background, because it always fits. Because they had one song 2 albums ago called Chernobyl Blues, which most people know about the Chernobyl.
Right.
And they're playing a part of the song where the sirens are going off and everything. And of course, devastation is about to hit, and they get into a really, really, really heavy ass part, and she's just back there screaming her ass off. So it's like, it's like it fit.
Yeah.
But she's been a reappearing guest on it, and I was really happy to see it. I think she actually might have guessed 3 times on this album. And also I mentioned Voivod earlier. Their lead singer also made a guest appearance on this album, which I was happy to see.
I need to listen to them more, especially as high on them as you are.
I mean, they're like,
listen to them.
They're very avant-garde. Basically means like basically experimental. Like it's not paid by numbers at all. So it's a tough take for some people. But
I've shuffled through some of it, and it confused me.
Yeah,
I was confused, but Rock Lobster was confusing in the 80s, you know?
Right.
But that's a jam.
But even like, I don't know, man. I can't be any more higher on these guys. If you're a fan of anything that is at least different as far as the black metal and death metal scene, you got to give them a shot.
Nice. 2 for me, still conventional, but not conventional. I'm still mad to this day, and this album came out, I think, March. The lack of attention this album is getting pisses me off. Literally, figuratively makes me angry. But one of my favorite hip hop artists came out with a fucking rock album with Shooter Jennings of all people, and it's Yellow Wolf and Shooter Jennings. The album is called Sometimes Why, the letter Y, and this album gets no love, and I'm so confused. I don't know if it's because it's Yellow Wolf or because it's like a joint collaboration, but man, this fucking album is absolutely fantastic from start to finish. It's what the 80s would sound like if the 80s had the recording technology of today. Like if they had the gear and the just the digital technology that we have today back in the 80s, if Bruce Springsteen had this shit and had Yellow Wolf, this is what the album would sound like. Like, it is 80s rock, but modernized.
Is it arena sounding rock then, if it's like Bruce Springsteen?
It's such a mix. I'll play a track from it too, just because it's I really don't think we're going to get hit on it, but it's just something.
I some good Bruce Springsteen when he's good anyway.
I will admit I don't really know a lot about Bruce Springsteen's music.
I'm telling you, like if you actually go back, I think it's the album Nebraska. It's probably one of the most depressing albums you can ever listen to.
Yeah,
it's like super sad.
I need to listen to it because I know he's huge for a reason. You know,
I think it's called Nebraska, but yeah, man, it's like it's rough.
Typically, there's a reason why people are as huge as they are, but now again, this is a straightforward fucking rock song. Like it's 80s-ish. This is one of the less 80s tracks on there, but just to get an idea of what Yellow Wolf sounds like with Shooter Jennings trying to make a rock album, there's this song, and it's warning. You may take it as a little generic. I take it as like a triumph for someone like Yellow Wolf to have done. I just think it's cool as shit. Springsteeny as hell to me too.
Off the rip. It's definitely 80s sounding, which is cool.
Yeah, it's just different.
I like the bass.
I do too. It's clean. Got to get to the chorus and then I'll bail.
Right. It is very 80s sounding. I like it. I actually like it.
Good. The whole album is fucking good. And it actually blows me away when listening to it. Like there's multiple albums or multiple songs on the album that gives me chills. And when an album gives me chills, that's a telltale sign. Like you listen to this, you keep listening to it because it's special. And maybe it's where I've listened to Yellow Wolf for years as a rap artist, but like I heard this and I was like, dude, this fucking another case of an artist that can literally do whatever sound he wants because I think he sounds great as a rock singer.
Not the MGK way.
Fuck that guy. Yeah. I'm sorry. I cannot stand MGK like at all. I think, oh my God, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother. I could do a whole show about hating on MGK. I don't understand it. I think it's all, there's certain artists that I feel like their look carries them, and I feel like that's him.
Yep.
Like, just let's get as flashy as we can. I know that some of my favorite artists of all time loved Kiss back in the day, but I think Kiss is absolute garbage.
They're literally a stage show.
That's it.
I think they're awful.
That's it, And a band like Ghost is a stage show and good music.
Right.
Like, if you can do both, more power to you, Fucking Guar's stage show and good music.
Yeah.
But the fuck MGK. God dang it. Makes me mad. I can't stand that guy. But yeah, anyways, sometimes why Yellow Wolf, Shooter Jennings, no fucking love at all. And I just don't get it. Don't get it at all. Anyways, Neil, we're getting to the creme de la creme of our list.
Yeah, my number one.
Yep.
It's from Venom Prison. The album is called Erebos. And
I listened to Venom Prison today.
And this, like I said, not being hyperbole, outside of what we spoke on earlier with Gary Newman, this may be my favorite album I've heard it might be my favorite album I've heard in the last 4 or 5 years.
That good.
For my taste, it's one of my favorite albums. I've listened to this album like consistently ever since when it came out in April. No, it came out in February. I've listened to this always since this came out. And then even on my playlist here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 6 of the songs added to my main playlist off this album alone. Yeah. Larissa's got some of the best metal vocals out there, male or female. To me, they're perfect. And on this album here in general, it's like the title being of the album being Erebos. Like at the very first track, they started chanting Erebos. Then on the very last track, as it's closing out, it's awesome to me because they close out with the chanting of Erebos, like pretty much just tying off the album.
Yeah,
that's cool to me. And the song "Technology to Death," man, that's probably my favorite track on the album, which is the last song. It's brutal all the way to the end. Larissa's like screams on the album, and they're perfect to me. Like the guitar work and the whole production's great on this thing.
Right.
There's not a bad track on it. For any metal fan, like I have to recommend this one because I feel like very strong about this album. Even like the song Nemesis, Pain of Alice. Pain of Alice is probably the song I listen to the most. They do the end of the year wrap up for Spotify. I guarantee the song will be miles ahead of everyone. Yeah. Miles ahead.
I'm always excited to see this too.
But this album, I'm really excited to see my playtime on this thing.
Yeah.
I ran into the ground. It might be up there like in my most played albums of all time. Not hyperbole at all. I've listened to it that much.
That's pretty high praise.
Yeah.
Venom, I swear to God, I think I listened to them today. I need to look at the album. Do you probably?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Do you have it pulled up? Yeah. Yep. I listened to that today. Yeah. And I actually think the album art's really cool too, because you hear these stories across time of like, sadly, of real life situations where people hide under dead bodies. And I saw that cover art and I'm like, that's just very, you hate to say clever, but clever. It's kind of clever. But I'm excited to listen to that.
But with this album, it's painting a story where she's had her own her own traumas and stuff like that, and Erebos being the god of the dead and all that. It paints a really good picture. It's all a big story, and it's very personal to her, and it came through in the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to that tomorrow because I listened to that probably the tail end of my day, and I walked out of work today thinking I'm gonna give this more of my time because I think I might like it. But it did, maybe if I'd have listened to it more, maybe it crept in there. I'm not sure. But I felt good about my list when I was leaving work today. And at the same time, I was like, I need to listen to more of this band because I think I might like them. So my number one's boring because we've already talked about it. But that's okay. My number one is Ghost Impera because it probably is the album I've listened to the most this year. Hence, again, the fact that I bought it on vinyl, which means, anything I buy on vinyl, it's going to get played because when I'm home, I don't tend to grab my phone for music. I want to throw a record on when I'm home. And that's one of those records that I'm like, I can put it on any time. And not once since it got released, which was also months ago, maybe March, maybe May, I can't remember.
What, for the Ghost album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every single time I've thrown this album on, I have not turned it off till it's done. So that's glowing to me. But anyways,
it came out in March. Yeah.
March. The production value, again, it doesn't get much better production value wise on this. Like you can hear, and this is one of those things, like
very clean,
very, very clean. And songs like, Call Me Little Sunshine or whatever.
Yeah.
You put on a pair of headphones on that song and there's so many intricate and like shiny moments on that shit. And then that'll blow your mind, like Lateralis of Tool blew your mind.
I was going to say, I was getting ready to interject with that. Like I think it was a Tool album. It was on Anima. It's just the song that had the sound buzzing back and forth.
Yeah.
Even when you have headphones on, you can hear it feels like it's going on over your head back and forth. It's like that's cool if you have the headphones on.
Yeah, and headphones is the only way in my car. I fuck turn that shit up in my car. But dude, the Ghost album in Paris. It's just a joy to listen to. The production value is top notch, like we said. I think it's very well thought out and very well performed. My only issue with this album, and I'm not going to let it knock any of the shine off of it at all, but I do hate Hired Guns, and they got the guitarist from Opeth on this album, which is fine. I understand that Ghost is always going to be a revolving door of musicians, even though they've kind of committed to a lot of their current lineup for not only tour, but some of those guys play on the album too, and gals. But that kind of kills me sometimes, knowing that the guy from Opeth is responsible for the guitar parts, but it still sounds like Ghost. So he was obviously supervised by Tobias Forge, and because I saw an article where Tobias actually asked him to tone down some of his guitar parts. That's just a little too heavy. I'm trying to do something a little more sparkly here. But the album's just great, man. It's decades of rock music mixed and mashed into just kind of I almost want to call it a new sound. Like they've taken elements from so much 80s and 90s hard rock and metal and just rock, and they've made something kind of new out of it to me. But highlights on this one, Watcher in the Sky. I can't believe I'm saying it, but 20s grew on me like crazy, and I did not like that song. That was the weakest track on the album to me at one time.
It's one of their heavier songs they've done too.
It is, and it just, my problem with it was the goofy shit.
Yeah,
the whole like grab him by the hoo-ha, and some of the lyrics just like fucking made my lip curl like Elvis
cringe,
a little bit.
Yeah, cringe.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't deal with that. But anyways, it grew on me. Watcher in the Sky, 20s. Darkness at the Heart of My Love is a fucking beautiful fucking song.
Yeah, I did like that one, all right.
That's a beautiful, beautiful song. And Respite on the Spital Fields is also, and I even like Hunter's Moon a lot, and Call Me Miss. Like those songs I heard. So first they released 20s as a single, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't even know if I like that. Then they released Call Me Little Sunshine or whatever. I was like, that's a little too straightforward to me till I heard it on headphones.
Yeah.
And then I heard Hunter's Moon. I was like, it's from Halloween. Why is that on the album? But the more I listened to this album, the more every single track made more sense than I ever gave credit for. And it's to me, it's a brilliant album front to back. And again, I don't even know if it's my favorite Ghost album because I love Meloria so much.
Yeah.
Like, love it. So I don't know, but they're definitely a band that is progressing very gracefully. Like they're not sounding the same on every album. They're progressing. I just wonder what's next. Like,
Right.
because I don't know how you top that from a shiny production and shiny, almost pop metal thing. Where do you go from here? I'm interested
know.
to see where they go from here because
Probably one extreme or the other, I'd assume.
yeah, I just don't know. So I'm very, very curious what they do from here because I feel like they've reached a point of no return. Like they either have to go heavier or they have to go more traditional, current. I don't know. I don't know
Right.
what they're going to do, but I did love this album a lot.
I haven't listened to it in probably. It's been probably a few months at least.
I keep it pretty I keep it prevalent.
Yeah.
Like when it's one of those albums which I'm sure you have, like when I just can't think of something to listen to,
That's my Venom Prison right now.
I'll just throw it on.
Yeah, when I'm at work, I just
Yep.
When I don't have time, when I'm in a spot where I have to listen to music, well, I don't say have. When I have a chance to listen to music, but don't have time to research anything real quick, that's when I go back to the old faithfuls.
Yeah.
Like what's recently played? Now, Venom Prison. Let's just toss it back on.
Throw it back on. Like something you know you're going to be happy
Right,
with. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you throw something on, you're like, I'm not in the mood for that actually.
Right.
But you think you are, then you start it and you're like, no.
Yeah.
And sometimes you struggle. But albums like that and Venom Prison, like you said, for you right now, it's just so easy to throw them on.
I just hope the rest of the year gets a little better for us. So, like for me, like I said, it was kind of like a down year for me so far, as far as great albums go. Maybe my best guess is maybe 4 out of the 10 will end up making the final cut at the end of the year. Because there's already one that's already made it on my top 10 of the year, but this came out last Friday, so it didn't make the cut yet. But
I am curious. Like I'm looking up currently what is left to come, at least on a lot of stuff you like probably won't be in here because most of these fucking websites and shit, they don't really tell you everything that's coming out. Like I'm looking at future releases and it's like, oh, DJ Khaled, oh yay, I don't know what he sings at all. But Muse, Will of the People is coming out tomorrow. I like Muse, but I haven't liked anything I've heard from that album so far.
And they've gone crazy, so
Yeah, I haven't heard anything I like. I'm not excited about it. But then Megadeth is the week after. I am super excited about that. Let's see. Trying to see if there's anything we both... Ozzy Osbourne, I've never cared for. Let's see. Behemoth comes out with an album in September.
I'm ready.
Neil's ready for that.
Yep.
Blackpink
Yeah.
in September. Gogol Bordello in September. We got the Black Angels. I don't know who that is. The Mars Volta has went in a poppy direction. That album comes out in September. Let's see. Willow again. Will Smith's. Nope. No thanks. The Pixies have a new album coming out in September. I've always been kind of a Pixies fan.
Yeah, Lamb of God's got one coming out too.
I've never really listened to them much. Okay, let's real quick. Like, what's your Slipknot opinion?
I haven't liked Slipknot since Iowa,
Okay, Iowa was badass.
and ever since Volume 3, which is obviously the third album, to me, like of course, Slipknot's history was Stone Sour was around before Slipknot, obviously.
Right.
But in between Iowa and Volume 3, Stone Sour was out, along with Murder Dolls. Stone Sour, to me, crept into Slipknot's sound. Slipknot, to me, after Stone Sour became prevalent again, Slipknot, to me, went downhill as far as their sound goes. It got softer to me. It got too radio poppy for me, and it's just obviously less heavy to me, and just boring. And it never regained esteem for me.
Gotcha. I get that.
And Corey Taylor's pretty cringe too. And I have a Slipknot tattoo, and it's like I don't regret it, but it's like I don't like him at all anymore. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I did like Iowa. I've liked a few songs here and there, but I haven't liked an album since Iowa.
Like Slipknot got heavy again. You pop it on. It's super generic radio rock choruses. I'm like, I've heard this back my whole life. It's who cares?
Yeah. I've liked what I've heard off the new album so far, marginally more than the last, but it's not anything that I've listened to multiple times. So I'm not really looking forward to it, to be honest. It might be okay.
The thing is, I already thought it came out as much, in many reviews there's been on the singles and stuff. I also already slipped my mind.
Got a new Bush album coming out, Neil. You excited about that?
I'm more excited about the Bush album than I am Slipknot. I mean,
That's pretty bad.
yeah.
Let's see. There was a few. I thought there was a couple more. Red Hot Chili Peppers, for some reason, are doing another one. Return of the Canteen Dream, or Dream Canteen. Sorry. I don't care.
Is it 10 songs about California?
I just don't care. Probably. The Getaway was a fantastic album, but I'm one of the few people that think them bringing back John Frusciante was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And this last album proved to me that was the case, at least for me. The Arctic Monkeys are releasing an album. It's been a long time since they've done anything. They're okay. Let's see. Dead Cross. They're coming out with an album.
Not familiar.
Mike Patton's thrash metal.
Gotcha.
Thrash metal outfit. I like them a lot. It's like super. Dave Lombardo is the drummer for Dead Cross.
Okay.
So Dead Cross, their second album's coming out. I am excited for that because I love Dead Cross. Devin Townsend.
I love Devin Townsend.
He's got an album coming out in October. So that's something that could possibly be good. And Anti-Flag, I'm past that. That's January anyways. But that's it. Avenged Sevenfold's supposed to do something soon. They're kind of Slipknotish in the way that like they have moments for me nostalgic wise, like Nightmare. I love.
I hate that song, man. I hate with the passion. Honestly, their first album was awesome.
I like Nightmare,
but other than that, to me, they're Five Finger level for me.
Oh, that's terrible. I understand.
Unapologetic.
I understand it though. My Bloody Valentine, No Effects again. Single album, disc 2. Phantom Planet. I like Phantom Planet's last album. Sum 41 is supposedly heavy these days. I don't know. The Distillers, I'm a big fan of them. They got an album coming out sometime. The Toadies, I'm a big fan of them. Zach De La Rocha is still listed as released his solo album at some time. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No.
But and Weezer's got 2 more albums coming out, and they suck. They suck real bad anymore. Their spring and summer EPs that have come out are terrible. Oh, real quick. I want to do an honorable mention thing. I probably should have mentioned to you, but I came up with it at the last minute. There were 2 things that came out this year that I love, but I couldn't throw them into this because one's an EP, and that is Primus's Conspiranoia. Like, that was a fucking killer EP in my opinion.
I didn't even check it out, and I like Primus.
Oh, dude, it's so good. So good. It's only like 3 songs, but it's so damn good.
Right.
And my favorite song of the year was just released as a single, and nobody knows who this group is, but I love this song. It was released this year. It's by Vowws, VOWWS, and the song is One by One, and it is an absolutely killer fucking song. So I want to throw those out there because the Vowws album, if they released an album, it would be in my top 10 guaranteed because I love that shit. And same with Primus. If that was a full album, I probably would have thrown that in there because Conspiranoia is that EP's killer.
I'll probably end up checking that out on the way home, honestly.
It's really warning, it's Primus, but there are some long songs. One of the songs are 7 minutes plus maybe, but it's fucking awesome, and of course the bass is awesome.
Yeah.
But the whole thing's
That's
awesome.
expected.
Like he plays a little bit off his Pink Floyd and Rush influences on the EP. And of course he's doing like the Rush.
Yeah, the Rush tour.
Yeah. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that whenever you finish it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
That's all I got though. Hopefully we can do 10 albums after the year's over.
It's like we see how much has changed, huh?
Yeah.
I assume a lot of mine will change.
I'm gonna keep my notes for sure.
Right.
And then I'll do another note off to the side and hopefully mix and mesh and have that going on. But yeah, at least there's been good shit this year. Some years you get none.
I just wish there was more.
Yeah, me too.
But then again, I'm an adult and have a lot more time. So
there'll be some more for me because I'm going to take your list and see if any of that fits in with me. So, and I'm sure your number one, I'll probably listen to the majority of my drive to work tomorrow. And
it's a front to back listen for me.
I'm hoping that's the case for me because the more music I've got, the better. And some years you just don't get shit. So that's all we got. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully the whole time you didn't say, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's like the guy that's stuttering keep mentioning the metal bands all the time. Who are these guys? And you can't understand what they're saying.
You like what you like, man.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to throw Beyonce's Renaissance in there. It's just not going to happen.
No.
And we apologize to those of you who don't care for the style that I'm currently into and that Neil's been into for as long as he's been an adult and a child.
Yeah.
So, our bad. You're listening to the wrong fucking show, I guess. Go listen to the Rolling Stone Top 10 review, and maybe you'll hear more of what you want to hear. But
Right.
if you want to take some suggestions, by all means, there's some good stuff in there for anybody. Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. We'll see you guys next time, though. I'm going to cue up the music instead of just saying that. I'm just going to keep talking like an idiot, so I can cue up my music that I completely fucked up. Maybe I can just edit that part out. But here we go. See you next time. Thank you for listening to Stuck in My Generation. Again, if you want to suggest bands for us to listen to, send it over to stuckinmygeneration@gmail.com.